Hey guys, Paul Lynn here, trying to talk to you today about living well. What do I mean by living well? I mean being happy, being fulfilled, being the best you can be, and getting the most out of life, okay? So, not that hippie drum circle stuff. I'm not selling anything religious or anything fruity. This is really just kind of the head game, getting yourself right in your head, getting the right philosophy, the right perspective on life, things that are going to be healthy and make you successful and good at what you do. Today I want to talk about something called detachment. And when I give you my thesis and when I put this on the table, right away a lot of you tender-hearted Care Bears are going to say, no, Paul, no, that's wrong. But one, hear me out, and it's going to make a lot more sense. Two, meet a few people who live by this philosophy, and I bet you're going to start to see the difference, okay? The idea is detachment. And what that means is, emotionally, I do not let myself get too invested in anything. Not in relationships, not in work, not in hobbies, not in competitions, nothing. What does that mean exactly? I have a wife. We've been married for 13 years. Are you saying you don't love your wife? No, I'm not saying that. Stupid. Of course I love my wife. But I have an emotional detachment from her. We woke up this morning, we went and walked our dog for an hour, we came back home, we walked to breakfast, sat down, enjoyed a meal, came home, and then once we got to the house, I came here to start doing some recording. And when I get done recording, I'm going to go back to the house. I'm going to spend the rest of the day with my wife because, you know what? I love being with her. 13 years and we're very happy together. So how am I emotionally detached from her? Well, it's like this. My happiness, my contentment, my appraisal of myself is not dependent upon her or her words or her actions or her deeds. All right? So think about it this way. Is there an emotional connection between us? Oh, absolutely. If she got hurt and had to go to the hospital, would I be worried? Yes, I would. Would I be there with her and taking care of her? Absolutely. But what happens if one day she says, Paul, I want a divorce. I want something else out of life and I want to leave. Okay, go. Would I be sad? Surprisingly, no, I would not. Would I feel hurt? No, I would not. How is that possible? And the answer is, I know that I love her. I know that I enjoy being with her. Because part of that is dependent upon the fact that I know I make her happy and I'm what she wants and she chooses to be with me. But if something else is going to make her happier, or if I'm no longer making her happy, then why do I want to be with somebody who I'm not pleasing? And why do I want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with me, right? There's an emotional detachment there. My happiness is not dependent on her. It's accentuated by her. Her presence in my life makes me happier, makes life more enjoyable. It makes every experience that we share together more fulfilling. But I do not depend on her. She's not a crutch that I'm leaning on. If she gets snatched away from me, I'm not going to fall over because my balance depends on her. This is something that people who have worked with me in the past, like in a physical, location, in an office or something, this is something that they saw, that whenever the shit was hitting the fan, everybody'd be running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and I wouldn't. I would be calm and relaxed as if I didn't even care. And it always happens. Someone would come up to me, Paul, why aren't you worried about this? Because I'm on top of my job and I've done everything I possibly can do. Yeah, but Paul, you still have this, this, and this to do. Yes, I do. And I'm working on it as quickly as possible, and I will finish as soon as I possibly can finish. That's all I can do, and I'm already doing it. What more would you like to see me do? Would it make you feel better if I looked more exasperated? Maybe if I had some sweat on my forehead? Would that make you feel a little better? Would that make you convinced that I was taking this seriously and that I was doing my best? Maybe if I just ran around the office and shouted a little bit. How about that? Would that get us a little closer to the goal? And that's very disconcerting for people who are led around by their emotions and who are just deeply invested and dependent upon everything. So, yeah, at work, I always do my job as well as I can do. I do it as efficiently as I can. I'm not putting things off and blowing them off till the last minute. Okay, if I was doing that, then I think I would have a reason to be stressed, right? But if I'm already at the job and I'm doing everything as well as possible, what is worrying going to change? What is panicking going to solve? If I'm already doing 100%, what more can I ask of myself? What more can anybody else ask of me? If somebody brings me a problem and I'm unable to solve it, then I'll tell them, I'm sorry, I don't know how to help you with this. Or I have priorities on my desk that don't permit me to help you with that. Oh, but I need you and this and this. Okay, talk to my boss. And if he says that what you need from me is a higher priority than what he told me he needed from me before, then I will happily drop what I'm working on and I'll help you with your thing. But the thing is, I don't work for myself here. I don't work for you. I work for my boss. And that's the person who sets my priorities. So talk to my boss. And if my boss says, go do this instead, I'll be happy to. I don't care what I'm doing as long as I'm doing what my boss wants me to do. Why would I care? I'm not here to care. I'm here for money. I'm here to get paid. I'm not here for emotional gratification. I'm not here as part of some kind of psychotherapy. I'm here to get paid so that I can pay my rent and have food to eat, right? So I don't care what I'm doing. If my boss wants me doing one thing and then another and never finishing anything, or if he says, go out and sweep the floors all day, are you still going to pay me the same? Yes. Okay, I'll go sweep the floors. Don't care. You see what I'm saying? It's not that I don't try. It's not that I don't put forth effort. Of course I do. I put forth as much as possible. But allowing myself to get emotionally invested in the work, that leads to health problems. Do you understand that? That leads to high blood pressure. That leads to obesity. That leads to, insomnia and all kinds of different complications that, how am I going to be a better performer if I voluntarily succumb to illogical stresses? Right? So here's the thing. By remaining detached, when everybody else is in a panic and it's just a big clusterfuck in the office and everyone's running around yelling at each other and nobody can figure out what to do, I'm performing at a higher level. They are wasting a lot of time being inefficient, trying to satisfy their emotions and assuage their fears. Well, I'm just performing. I'm just getting the job done and getting it done well, and I'm the stable rock in the area. Same thing in a relationship. Fights happen, and hormones and stress and all kinds of different, just facts of life are always going to be trying to influence the dynamic of a relationship. Whether you're talking about a romantic relationship or a friendship or a business partnership, they're all relationships and they all work the same. There's always going to be emotion involved. I'm not discouraging that. I'm an emotional person. I love to feel good. I love to get excited. But I don't let myself depend on those emotions, and I don't let those emotions have an unhealthy effect on my reasoning skills. Does that make sense? So in a relationship, when there's a fight, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to yell and scream. I'm not going to call names. If I don't like what's happening, I'm just going to distance myself from the situation. If I realize I've done something wrong, I'm going to fix it. I might be a little bit proud in the moment and I don't want to admit that this is my fault, but yeah, I screwed the pooch on this one. But I'll get my head straight and then I'll come back and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I thought about it and yeah, I could have handled this better. I screwed up. But let's fix it this way. Is that cool? And I'll move on. If it's not my fault, I'm not going to point the finger and blame and say, well, you did this and you said that. I'm just going to distance myself, do my own thing. And once the thing works itself out, or once, she calms down and says, why are we in this fight? Okay. Once I'm calm and you're calm, we can talk about it. But while we're yelling and screaming and crying and tearing at each other's hair and slapping each other and kicking the dog, it's not the time to try to discuss anything because nothing's going to get fixed anyway. So it kind of sounds like I'm preaching stoicism or telling you, well, we should be like Vulcans in Star Trek, right? That's not logical. No, I'm not. On the contrary, I'm not saying that we should not be emotional. I'm not saying we should not enjoy our emotions. What I am saying is that our emotions should serve us and we should not serve them. They should not tell us how to think. They should not tell us how to act. They should not affect our reasoning. They should never affect our performance in any of our roles in life. And more than anything is that those emotions should never be a crutch. We should never depend on them. If my job's going bad, that's a reflection on me and I'm not worth anything and I'm a bad person. What? It's a job. It's an arrangement where you do work for money. That's all it is. Do the work and get the money. And if for any reason the relationship goes sour, go somewhere else, do different work, or even do the same work, and still get money. Don't let it define your worth as a person. Don't let that establish how happy you are or how content you are. Same thing for relationships. If your relationship is good, enjoy it. If it's not good, see if there's something you can do to make it better. But if it's failing, if you're doing everything right and you're doing your best, I'm sorry, but a failing relationship is not a judgment on you. Nor should it bring you down and make you feel like less of a person. Enjoy it, be emotionally invested in it, but don't depend on it, if that makes sense. So that's it. That's what I've got for you today. Detachment. Being detached will actually make you better at everything you do in life. Ask any parent who's ever had to discipline their children. It hurts, it's painful, you don't want to tell them no, you don't want to impose any kind of punishment or anything like that. But if you don't, they will not develop, right? So you have to know how to detach. You can't be an emotional parent because you're going to be a pushover. You're going to give them everything that they want and you're going to spoil that child. What does that mean? They're going to grow up to be a very unsuccessful adult because they expect everything to be handed to them. And they're 30, 40 years old and still throwing temper tantrums. Okay? So detachment makes you better as a parent. It makes you better in a relationship. It makes you a better employee. It makes you better at pretty much every role you have in life. If you can not be unemotional, but learn to be detached. That's what I got. Hope you like it. I really hope you learn this because it seriously will improve your life. It will improve your happiness. It will improve your success. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe to what I'm doing so you can see more of what I'm doing. Thank you very much for watching, and cheers from Bolivia.